with the Panzer III in Tier 4. This is a well-balanced vehicle with strong front armor, good handling, and decent armament. Starting with Tier 5, the uniqueness of the branch will show more and more. Its main difference from the other German medium tanks branch is the speed and agility. The Panzer III/4, VK30.01D, VK30.02D, Indian Panzer, and Leopard PTA have differences in their armor strength and firepower, but they are all quite fast and mobile. The Leopard 1 stands at the top of the branch. With its maximum speed of 65 kilometers per hour, it holds the title of fastest Tier 10 medium tank in the game. Maneuverability is its strong point, while its armor is not a strong point. The armor on the turret and front hull is very thin, and even the good armor angles can't compensate for this. It will be hard for the Leopard to survive under heavy fire, but it's capable of striking back. Its gun is accurate, quick firing, and causes a lot of damage.
Highway Patrol think they have some crooked
3 new premium vehicles were introduced: the TOG-2, Tetrarch, and Panzer S-35. The TOG-2 is a Tier 6 British heavy tank with a good, quick-firing gun. This is a truly large vehicle. Of course, agility is not its strength, and its armor is quite thin. However, the TOG-2 has the highest number of hit points for its tier. The Tetrarch is a Tier 2 Soviet light tank. It's fast and agile, but its gun is its most outstanding feature. The gun's armor penetration value is one of the best in its tier, and it causes decent damage. However, that gun comes at a price. The Tetrarch's armor is quite weak. And finally, the PZ S-35. You could call it the first French vehicle in World of Tanks Blitz, but it formally belongs to the German branch. A large number of French S-35s were captured by the Germans. That's how this particular model finds its way into the game. The overall improvement of the game balance continues. In Update 1.9, the changes were made mainly to guns. Reload time, dispersion on the move, and many other parameters were tweaked. For example, the guns of the Maus, Luva, Tiger II, and Super Pershing reload faster now. Dispersion on the move was increased a bit for the Conqueror and FV-125B, and reduced for the IS-3, IS-7, and IS-8. Overall, balance changes were made to about 20 vehicles. Another pleasant feature of Update 1.9 is the reworked battle results screen. Now, the results displayed are more detailed and informative. You can learn more about all the changes in Update 1.9 on the official website. Good luck on the battlefield.
Human beings can be bad and they can be good. There's a possibility for great evil, but there's a potential for great good when you have moral freedom.
And so our greatest blessing, which is the free will we have, the ability to make choices, moral choices. Also,
welcome to Best Replays of the Week. I'm Luke Neller. Today, we have the Bat Chat who knows no fear. Several examples of great cooperative play between two mates and strangers alike. This time around, all replays just happen to be from the European servers. Let's get to it.
Otherwise,
let's start with something fast and furious. Okay, I think I'll just call him Bappa. Anyway, this guy drives the Bat Chatillon and blasts his enemies into shrapnel with fearless aggression. The standard battle takes place on Lakefield. There are only 8 Tier 10 vehicles on the field, and Bappa decides to make this short and sweet. The battle starts, and the Bat is off like a horse at the races. The road by the lake is the fastest way to find some action, and that's where he goes. The reload is done, and the victims start rolling into view. 2 heavy tanks show their sides, and the first magazine finishes off both of them. Bappa doesn't fall back for the reload, but stays on the road as a forward scout. He keeps moving, making sure he's not an easy target. The Waffenträger advances like an angry titan, but Bappa is hard to intimidate. He takes care of the monster and charges forward looking for more victims. With 2 shells loaded, he charges the enemy base like it's nothing. This should be suicide, but somehow it works perfectly. The first shot takes out an SPG, but the second one misses its mark. Now what? The enemies are trying to camp in their base, but it's hard to do that when somebody is right there spotted. As soon as the reload is done, Bappa charges into the melee and takes them all on at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 kills in 13 seconds in the middle of the enemy base. Bappa looks for more enemies, but it's all over. The Allies finish off the last 2, and the game is done. 7 kills in a 4-minute battle. It looks like Bappa would have continued his rampage if the enemies hadn't run out. This is definitely the top gun of the week. Congratulations! Now we go from Berserk heroics to Team. This week's Confederate drives a thick-skinned super Pershing on fiery sabers. X.X heads for the central ridge and meets his rival from the enemy team. The Super Pershings have trouble hurting each other, but sporting the enemy from allied fire works well enough. X.X turns his attention to the hill and lays down support fire. After a while, he turns his attention to the central area and claims the KV-85 as his first kill. Map control is getting divided between the east and the west. Allies have won in the east, and X.X takes the task of holding the western front. He spots the enemies and harasses them, receiving backup from the teammates. The WZ is attempting a breakthrough. X.X is having none of that, and the overboard enemy becomes kill number 2. The score is 9-9, and half the remaining team is behind. X.X decides to advance on the enemies. He takes quite a few hits, but the enemy loses a Tiger and a Luby. Back to the center, and an enemy TD is caught in the crossfire. That's the 3rd kill, and now the team are up by 2. The heavy BK is next, with an ally claiming that kill. Only 2 more to go. This man is an easy target from here, but the enemy SPG has had enough of his pesky Confederates. That hurts. X.X helps finish off the T-34-1 and drives forward looking for the artillery. 4 against 1. The game is basically over. There you are. A well-aimed shot leaves the Arty with 7 HP, but its final act is taking revenge on the Pershing. Our hero is dead, but the game is won only seconds later. Nice work, constantly on the front line spotting, dealing damage, and keeping the enemies at bay. This is how you play the Confederates. When the enemies gain the upper hand, victory or defeat comes down to the defender. X-Juggernaut X is called upon to save the day, and he doesn't disappoint. The Tier 8 standard battle is fought on it. Juggernaut's Tiger 2 is a top tier heavy, so he takes points and heads to the town. The first damage goes to the enemies, but Juggernaut finds his groove after that. The Tiger's front is well armored, and good angling keeps him from getting hurt again. Eventually, the Jagdpanther becomes his first kill. The enemy IS-3 is not learning its lesson. Unfortunately, the Allied one gets itself killed as well. Most of the allies are gone, and Juggernaut holds the town almost by himself. It's going okay, but the enemies have broken through in the east. The capture siren goes off. Hold them off, team, I'm busy! Some unnecessary assistance from the SU-100M1 there. Now turn around quickly and deal with the rival Tiger. Okay, duel 1, but with heavy damage. Maybe the SU could use some help. In the distance, the second ally loses its 1-on-1, 2 against 3 now. Juggernaut squeezes past the dead tanks and goes hunting for the AMX. The SU takes the kill and then itself falls victim to the T-44. The fast and agile medium tank may be a problem. Juggernaut goes looking for the enemy, but it's nowhere to be found. Maybe the Hummel needs to die first then. The capture alarm goes off again and he's almost to the enemy base. No time for an arty hunt then. As he's on the way back, the capture speeds up. They're both in there. The Tiger may not be fast enough. Playing on a hunch, Juggernaut stops to take a couple of uneyed shots. Success! The capture is reduced by 40 points. It's still a close call, but one of the enemies abandons the circle as he charges in. The artillery lands its shot, but doesn't quite get a kill. Juggernaut misses. The second shot takes care of the Hummel, but the T-44 charges him from behind. The shot fails to penetrate, and it doesn't get a second chance. Victory! This required some luck, but all in all, it was a good example of defensive play. Nice work saving the base, defender. The next replay is one of those which fall between categories. However one looks at it though, did Otto and his Batchat prove crucial to winning the match. The map for this standard battle is Highway. The heavies head for the town, and Did Otto races north to scout in the field. The enemies turn up and he gets to work. The first magazine leaves one enemy damaged, and a rival bat destroyed. Did Otto backs off to reload as a friendly med tank blows up. The battle simmers down to cautious sniping for a while. 4 careful shots, then another reload. Reload's done, let's go. The WZ has no chance, and it's a shame that the T-54 dies as well. The enemies have a 4-tank lead. It looks like the battle for the town was a disaster. The remaining team head back and prepare to defend the base. Here they come. Did Otto helps repel the first Pershing and then decides to reload. Another defender dies, and now it's 3 versus 7. The enemy have the initiative, and all the defenders can do is wait. Contact. It would be a tricky shot from here, and luckily not needed as Artie is on the case. Both bats get suspicious and drive around looking for more enemies. What are they up to? There, another IS-8 is trying to sneak in. A quick auto-aim shot with a heat round takes care of it. Didotto changes position and evades the incoming artillery strike. The next one is a badly mauled E-100. Another heat round and another kill. The T-57 Heavy doesn't want to come out yet, so Didotto leaves it to the other two. An IS-4 is approaching from the town, and this one is nearly dead as well. Another heat round makes for the third kill shot in a row. The Heavy is out to play, and it's already aiming. The enemy misses, and Didotto's shell bounces. Both autoloaders land their next shot, and Didotto's drum is empty. A Minotaur makes the artillery strike miss. Nice Jedi trick. The Allied bat attacks the Heavy, but it manages to escape with 28 hit points. Reload is done, and Didotto is too focused on the T-57 to notice the VK lying in ambush. They trade shots, and it leaves the bat in a fragile state. Didotto keeps skirmishing with the enemy until the object finishes it off. The T-57 is still here. The first shell bounces, but the second one finds a softer spot. 6 kills, and only the Artie is left. Charge! Bat chats for everybody in this 2 versus 1 Artie hunt. Didotto stops for a moment to time a perfect pincer movement, and then moves in with his teammate. He gets the first hit, and the ally secures the kill. Beautiful. There we go. A very solid game all around, and they made that turnaround look almost easy. Special mentions for the surviving teammates for excellent cooperation in a pub game. This week's brothers in arms are Johnny Fencer in the T-37, Juan Pedro in the Type 5 Chi-Ri, and NR9 in the T-34-1. The Tier 7 standard battle was fought over Sacred Valley. At the start, the trio head north. Johnny drives to the side and starts taking shots at the enemy, while NR9 pushes further up the road. The relentless long-range fire from Johnny is effective, and his final uneyed shot claims the first kill for the trio. Juan joins NR9 on the front, and it's not long before they both claim a kill as well. Artillery strikes close, and it's time to move. The enemies are pushing into the base, and the trio redeploy to lay down some serious fire. NR9 takes out a Jagdpanther, but the situation is starting to look grim. The brothers are down to 1 ally, while there are still 10 enemies left. To make matters worse, Juan's Chi-Ri takes a massive hit. Johnny charges out and engages the IS in a knife fight. It looks like a terrier attacking a bull, but the IS goes down for the count. Unfortunately, the enemies manage to focus down on Juan Pedro at the same time. The ELC charges, but NR9 is on the case. Johnny chases down the E25 and kills it with a shot. NR9 heads towards the cap circle. An M5 Stuart comes hunting for Johnny, and the Allied Hellcat dies to heavy fire from the Cappers. The two brothers are on their own. Johnny wins his duel with the Stuart and heads for the cap circle. NR9 manages a reset shot with a capture at 97%. Whew! Johnny charges in, and together they make short work of the Cappers. The immediate threat is over, but it's still 2 versus 4, and the heavier tank is in a pretty bad state. Keeping together, the brothers set out to find the remaining enemies. The search goes on until that infernal siren goes off again. The T-37 is much faster, and Johnny is the first one on the scene. Once again, he's all over the enemy heavy, but this one will take some serious killing. NR9 arrives on the scene, and Johnny leaves the rest to him. The SU-100 needs to be dealt with as well. Once again, Johnny executes a perfect attack, but this time he has a problem. The enemy isn't even close to dead when the ammo runs out. He keeps moving and dodging until NR9 arrives to put in the final shot. Right, only the 2 SPGs now, and one of the tanks is out of ammo. The enemies try their luck with blind fire as the duo set off on the final hunt. Here's the first one. And there's the second one. NR9 whiffs his shot and goes for the ram. The grill doesn't get a chance to fire before the second shot takes it out. Now for the last one. Johnny baits the arty shot and surprisingly lives to tell the tale. NR9 has all the time he needs to drive up and end the game. Victory! Excellent. That's 14 kills for the platoon, and a great turnaround with the power of teamwork. Nicely done, you brothers in arms. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. You can click on your screen to watch a previous Best Replays of the Week, or subscribe to the channel to make sure you never miss another episode. I'm Luke Nella, and I'll see you next time.
that injustice was redeemed by an all-wise, all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful God. He could take those kinds of things and he could turn them into the greatest.
If World of Tanks updates had names, the name Delicacy would suit Update 9.8. It doesn't contain a lot of new features, but the ones it does bring are excellent. A new game event, a new way of inviting players to a platoon, personal reserves, and the separation of the game client into two versions. You'll learn more from this review. A new game event, Domination, was introduced. In this mode, one of the things you need to do is shoot at vehicles, but that's the only thing it has in common with the standard battle formats. The opportunities and ways of achieving victory are unlike anything we've had before. The battles are fought in Tier 10 tanks. These tanks are special versions of the T-110E5, AMX-50B, and Object 140. Their characteristics are similar to those of their researchable equivalents, but they can be used only in Domination mode. These tanks will be given to all players, so if you were wondering whether or not to research these vehicles, you will be able to try them out before you make a decision. The battle is fought between two teams in a 15 versus 15 or 10 versus 10 format, depending on the map. The team that scores the most points wins. Points are given for delivering the flag to a special zone and for destroying enemy tanks. If a team reaches the required score before the end of the battle ends. This mode has a unique playstyle because you won't be afraid to get your vehicle destroyed. After a few seconds, you'll be able to respawn in the same battle and take revenge. We've implemented the ability to respawn multiple times during the battle in Domination mode. These are the so-called garage battles. A menu shows up after your tank's been destroyed. You'll have 10 seconds to choose a new tank. The specific vehicle that was just destroyed will be unavailable for 30 seconds. The tank appears on the battlefield with full HP, ammunition, and consumables. The setup of consumables is the player's choice. You can select what you need in your garage before the battle as usual. The number of respawns is unlimited. There are several vehicle repair points and resupply points. They add to the intrigue of the battle. A heavily damaged tank can suddenly rise from the ashes like a phoenix. All you need to do is to roll inside a yellow circle, indicated on the mini-map by a special icon, and wait for 5 seconds. Just remember to avoid damage and not roll out of the circle during this time. A minute has to pass before a player is able to use the same point again. Several tanks can be repaired in one repair point at the same time, even if there are both enemy and allied vehicles. The number of vehicles is limited only by the capacity of the circle. The Domination event comes out soon. Check for updates.
Subjected to thirst and hunger.
Coming next, separation of the client into HD and SD versions. Who needs which quality? Personal reserves. Now everyone can get what clans have. Dynamic platoons. Together we will win.
I love you so much, I'd rather die than live without
Besides some significant changes, Update 9.8 brings a lot of smaller ones. Battle performance badges, which mark the effective actions of a player during the battle, were added to the game. Many personal missions were corrected and updated. The range for all small caliber automatic guns and machine guns was increased to 400 meters. Many vehicles were rebalanced. For example, the dispersion of the IS-7's gun on the move and its aim time were reduced. The dispersion and aim time of the Conqueror Gun Carriage SPG were increased. You will find more details in the update patch notes. Battles for strongholds of levels 5 to 7 in Tier 8 vehicles are now available. The Kamaran map was removed from random battles. Many vehicles were reworked to HD quality. An opportunity to choose between HD and SD game clients was added to the client installer and the launcher. The HD version contains textures of a higher quality, but it is a much larger file. So if your PC specs don't allow you to play with the highest settings, it will be better to choose the more compact SD version. Now we come to dynamic platoons. What are they, and how will they change the game? Also, we'll tell you about personal reserves. All players will now be able to receive more experience. So, dynamic platoons. In general, this is the same squad of 2 or 3 players, but it is formed differently. Imagine that you're fighting a battle, only 2 allies are left. Superior enemy forces are coming. In most situations, this means a defeat. But now you'll be able to unite your efforts together in a platoon. Start communicating with voice chat, coordinate your actions, and crush the more numerous but disorganized enemy forces. Of course, it's not necessary to wait for such critical situations. You can platoon up with other players right away. This is especially effective if you fight on one particular flank or play one vehicle type, for example, SPG or light tanks. The opportunity becomes available when the countdown starts. You just need to click on the player's nickname and invite him or her to the platoon. Players can either accept or decline invitations. The platoon is not dismissed after the battle, so if you feel you have found true brothers in arms, you can continue playing together. Let's proceed to personal reserves. Basically, they are consumables. If you activate them, you will receive more experience or free experience per battle. In fact, personal reserves are very similar to the reserves that clans prepare in their strongholds, except that these reserves are personal. To receive personal reserves, you need to complete special missions in random battles. It's important to remember that each reserve has an expiration date, which is noted in the description. You can activate personal reserves from the menu in the garage. That's all for now. Good luck on the battlefield.
He doesn't just have the facts straight. That's omniscience. He has entered into the experience of it, and that's something entirely different.
He knows exactly how I feel. There is no pain that I'm going through. Paralyzed. He was even paralyzed on the cross. That tells me he identifies. That for me is enough.
Let's go.
Paul described
I wanted an excuse to watch the show and talk about it. Over 20 years have passed since the X-Files issue was launched. With the X-Files going to be open again come January 2016. Really excited for this. There's no better time to revisit the show or to discover
Our show would be so insignificant compared
The show may have a
to
reputation for its epic alien conspiracy mythology, but a huge part of what made the show so excellent were the standalone one-off cases with Mulder and Scully chasing down monsters, mutants, cryptids, psychos, vampires, telekinetic.
In 1998,
Welcome to Best Replays of the Week. All replays from this episode are taken from the 1st until the 8th of April. As you watch through some cool RNG moments, I want to beg players of the Asia and North American servers to please send in your replays. This isn't Best Replays of Europe after all. Well, at least it shouldn't be. Right. Shortly you'll see that Victory can ride on the last shell, and we show how to add armor to your tank. Let's get started. Start today with Morpheus FT and his indestructible wall of steel. the Sandman has come to put his enemies to sleep. Permanently. Morpheus and his Jagdpanzer E-100 find themselves in an encounter battle on Winterberg. He heads for the group of buildings on the eastern edge and claims his first victim right away. There's a capture warning, but that's not so serious this early in the game. Morpheus will focus on winning the fight here. He gives out better than he gets, but the soft lower glacis is a bit of a problem. It's time to end this. Morpheus pushes his behemoth forward and finishes off the T-32. A bit of teamwork takes care of the AMX as well. The score is even, but the enemies have taken the city. They also haven't lost any high-tier machines. This will require some cunning. Maybe the RU-251 could offer support from beyond the grave. It's just about the right size to cover the lower plate. Yes, that should work. 2 against 5, and that's a lot of open ground to cross. Maybe I'll just push this little tank along. The enemies can't seem to make up their mind on whether they want to capture or not. As it's now 4 versus 1, Morpheus probably doesn't mind the confusion. That's a lot of incoming fire, but it's all bouncing off. The capture will eventually become a problem though. Okay, let's take you out first. Like that. Now it's time to leave behind the improvised armor and go win the game. The Jagdpanzer rolls forward and gets to the Kappa with time to spare. Boom! Threat is over and the enemies are down to a Lirvin. Nice shot to the track, Lirvin, but Morpheus still has his repair kit. The enemy doesn't reach cover in time and the game is over. Victory! Nice use of improvised armor there. It seems that the wreck of an RU-251 is enough to make a Jagdpanzer unstoppable. Well played, sir. Next up, we have a nice display of mobile scouting from Santillana. The map is Prokhorovka, and the game is a standard battle at Tier 10. Santillana charges down the middle and spots a handful of enemy scouts and a Type 59 who is badly out of his depth. They dive right into the fight, and with some help from artillery, the enemies lose their lead scouts. Santillana keeps peeking over the central ridge and takes care to spot the enemies on both flanks. Is that a push in the west? Better take a closer look. Allied guns open up on the enemy column as soon as they are lit up by the scouts. A rival 90 goes to Santillana, but it proves to be no match. The scout reloads and heads back to the front. It looks like the enemies aren't giving up on the push. It's worth stopping for a shot or two. Santillana gets more aggressive, but their gun isn't really needed here. The Allies kill everything that's revealed in moments. And then it's all over, with just the out-of-tier type left standing. Santillana puts in a shell, but once again, it's the Allies who rip the premium tank into shreds. That looked almost too easy, but looking at the stats, it's easy to see why. 14 enemies spotted and over 10,000 points of detection damage. Nicely done, Scouts. The role of defender comes down to situational awareness and timing. Sometimes all you need is a good plan and a single shell. Darius II drives the T-37 in a Tier 7 standard battle on Swamp. For now, defense is the last thing on his mind as he drives to the front and starts wrecking havoc. That T-3485 is lucky he got some covering fire. Is this KV not taking Darius seriously? It should have. The T-150 is the next victim, and it doesn't last much longer. Neither does the T-34. Right, who's next? The Agile Lux is a tricky target, and an ally gets the kill. No matter, as long as it's dead. And here's the T-3485 from the start. Back to the garage with you. Maybe a little assistance there. One fewer enemy to worry about. Well, hello there. Are you still here? I guess it moved. But here comes its friends. Darius does as much damage as he can and claims the VK is his 5th kill. The KV-1 shows its side, and Darius probably can't believe his luck, just as it runs out. A devastating artillery hit leaves him with just 3 hit points and on fire. Incredibly, the crew managed to save the tank as the fire goes out immediately. Darius is undeterred and goes right back to fighting. There's the 1S again. This time the unarmed shot does the trick. Darius gets his 7th kill and the enemies are down to 4. Ammo is running low, but this Panther needs to be knocked out. It manages to finish off an ally, but it still becomes kill number 8. 3 versus 3 now, and the enemies have 2 Tigers. Darius decides to go and hunt down the dangerous SPG. Found it! 1, 2, dodge, and 3. The arty is finished and Darius is down to a single shell. There's just one chance for victory now. The ally has to listen and start the cap. One of the Tigers is at the home base, and the Hummel is done for. The remaining shell wouldn't make a difference here. The ally starts to capture a handful of seconds before the enemy, but where's the other Tiger? There, and quick enough to win the capture contest. Darius has to time this just right. As long as the ally stays in the circle, he can win this match with the remaining shell. Darius pops out, takes his last shot, and resets the capture from 96%. There's nothing the enemies can do now. Sometimes being the defender requires just a single shot. That was a great replay all around, but it was that defender moment which really made it shine. 9 kills and 73 defense points with your last shell. Very impressive. How do we top the previous replay with the Top Gun? By upping the intensity, of course. The Panther isn't known as an OP murder machine in what, but Starvilic can really make it sick. Tier 7 Standard Battle and Abbey, and you're the top of the list in a medium tank. What do? You carry as hard as you can, of course. Let's see who tucked into the Abbey. Bad mood, Chaffee. There's no way out. All these targets, but it looks like they're being taken care of already. Maybe the other side will be better. Well, hello there, KV. I think I'll call you kill number 2. Now just hold still for a while. Okay, I'll catch you 2 later. Maybe the base camp is there. There we go. Small but tasty. Starvilic gets busy and damages everybody foolish enough to get spotted. It's about time to deal with the